And as we spoke, because I think most of you were on the pre-match press conference, sometimes, as I said, sometimes these matches are not the ones that, in terms of the tactical side of the game, are not the most beautiful ones, let's say. But by the other side, sometimes these matches, they are very, very interesting in the tactical side of the question, the strategical side of the game. And I think that's what we saw today. Wonderful atmosphere, wonderful ambience, respect between the parts, but not a very beautiful match the way it was played. But very interesting in terms of the tactical approach that happened during the game. Obviously, I speak by myself. I had a hard work today, not only to prepare the match, because we, as you know, we had 68 hours between finishing the last match or the start of the previous one and the beginning of this one. So a big challenge to prepare the match, but also a big challenge to put in practice what we wanted. We scored from a very good tactical movement, very, very good tactical movement that we can speak about it later. But also then, as I said before, we had to cope with the moments and change the structure to be more balanced in defense, because we were not being able to press high. We changed the structure, and during the second half we changed again, 2 times even, so that we could cope with the moments of the game. So fantastic job from the boys that always gave an answer. They understood that we were trying to help them. They put the spirit in the pitch. And due to that, we had a good victory in a very difficult match. No, it was a decision that we did considering the context that we face. What I mean, as I told before, Mali is playing regularly. Tiwani was a player that when we arrived was not playing, so he had to come back on his qualities. He's doing well now. And we understood that the freshness that we needed for the team to cope with the style of play that eventually we could face, it was important to have freshness in the back. So we decided to put three players fresh on the defense, so that we could cope with mostly of these long balls, because you saw how the game was played. A lot of long balls just dispatched behind our lines on the wingers. That obliges us to make a volume of high intensity runnings that is really incredible. The numbers that the central backs have in some games in terms of high intensity runnings is so big that sometimes it can even go over the runnings that the players in the front they do in high intensity. So, and this is not the normal in a football game. So we know that this induces fatigue in the players, that we need to give them proper rest, and that we needed freshness to deal with the strikers and the wingers that Chiefs would line up. So that was strategical, obviously, to do also. Yeah, we expected that Chiefs would overload the middle in order to put numbers. But we knew that also would give opportunities on the sides. And we have capacity by the sides, and that's how we scored. As you remember, their full-back, because they had their midfielders all controlling the inside, and the wingers controlling the inside, trying to close our build-up in the inside. So their fullback was jumping on our fullback. But we knew that on that moment, we had two men in the front. If we could attract one of the center backs, eventually the other one could play the ball on the space. So Peter made that movement. Ikram went on the space and received the ball there, and then he passed to Lucas to make the goal. So as I said, it's the players to interpret the things, because it was a very hard game. Very tactically, very well prepared by Coach Nabi. Pirates has also good players, and there's an emotionality always behind these kind of matches. It's clear that we don't want to highlight, because our players are already in the level of tension that the games require these kind of games. So my approach is always very low in terms of demanding, and just giving them the tools so that they can give an answer. Sometimes it goes well, sometimes it don't. Today it went well, and of course I'm happy for that. But very tough game, very, very tough game. Look, regarding calendars, it's not up to me. What I know is that the World Cup is an important tournament for ourselves, is an important tournament for the world, is an important tournament for Africa in general. So I totally support the fact that there's this kind of competitions. Obviously, that it makes the schedule tougher, and that's a reflection that is not up to me. So the question in here on my job is always to manage contexts, and I have to give answers to those because I don't control whatever happens in terms of fixtures, and I had just tried to manage as much as possible the situations. But I have a big commitment in terms of managing the players in the best way. Obviously, that we know that as much as we believe in all of them, they are not all equal. They are not all equal. And obviously that we have players that go for national teams, and they have also to perform in the national teams because they also want to be there. They also want to be there. So we need to have a good communication. We need to give them as much rest as possible. I said last time, and I keep repeating it, training less now is training more. Training less is training more. Today was not a good match to bring us something for the future, because when we play the matches in the way you want to play regularly, that's also a good training session. But today the match was not played as we want to play. It was very strategical, and it was, and it means that from this match it will be difficult, for example, for me to look at it and say, okay, this moment, this, okay, let's show the players because this is the way we want to do the things. No. But also there are things that you can show the players in order to understand. In certain contexts, we have to do this, because the adaptation to context in football is very important. But hard work managing players, but most effort not only from me but all the structure of the club, because there's a big group of people that is working hard in terms of managing the players, trying to work on them in order to avoid injuries, trying to work on them to recover from match to match. And we are trying to deal with strategies in order to, as much as possible, have the players physically available, but mentally on disposal. Because the fatigue here for the overload of matches is also very dramatic if you don't give them the opportunity to, even the presence of family. Imagine one of my assistants, he had a family during this week here, and he almost didn't see his family. They will go back to Portugal tomorrow, and his son was almost crying, Papa, I'm here for 1 week and I didn't see you, because we were 2 days in Polokwane and then we came home, but then the other day in the morning, so we were here one day in 1 week. So for the players, it's also important that we can provide them some mental freshness. It's very important.